Hopefully people start showing up here. Looks like we've got is it? I love the setup. I can't hear you though. Shoot, I don't know what's going on. I know why I can't hear you. It's such a tiny desk there.
Well, I got to leave room for my guests.
Okay.
I don't have any green screens or effects for. There's the potential there.
All right. Looks like we got something cool happening here. Can you talk again? Because my setup is messed up. I've got a double feed on myself for some reason again.
Hello, my name is Toasted Zergling, and welcome to Toasted Tonight with Toasted
Audio
O'Brien.
issues all the time, apparently, here. Is that, I think that's Hammy there.
I saw someone else I saw a webcam come on. I did not hear any voices.
Hammy's got a cool, he's got the Joe Rogan background going there.
I see. Maybe we got inspired. I like the crappiness of my green screen with my sprinkly suit. That's a great effect.
Did you actually that's awesome. I love the suit. That's cool.
Nice.
Are we streaming right now? I think we are. I haven't bothered to look yet.
I do believe
we are live.
Yeah.
We're ready to go. And I've got your YouTube page queued up, Reductio. If you want to, I guess I'm supposed I'm interrupting everybody here.
Sound great on my end.
It's not, but I'm getting an echo on you. I'm not getting an echo on Toasted, but I'm getting a little bit of a echo on you. Are you getting the same, Toasted?
Yeah, I was getting a little lag there, Mr. Ad Absurdum Reducto.
Ad Absurdum. Reductio Ad Absurdum.
Reductio.
It's my favorite fallacy. Can somebody check and see the live stream? Is everything okay on that? I got to put.
I haven't listened in, but I will go turn the audio on.
I love your background. I love the. It looks like you're sitting on the floor in front of a tiny desk. Such a great setup. Seth, I'm not hearing you. Can you talk? We're having some issues with Seth's audio. Are you getting the same? It wouldn't be the show if we didn't have those issues.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just checked the stream. Seemed to be working fine. But yeah, it is a little tricky with the delay in audio and making sure I'm actually listening to the stream.
Yeah, I generally mute I guess you have to. Otherwise, you're just going to confuse yourself.
Yep.
So, I don't hear Pantha at all. But she's It's an awesome. I think it's better than the Tim Pool setup, by the way. It's definitely better than this thing. Even with the fancy UFO thing spinning. It's a better setup.
Toasted O'Brien just came to me. I was like, what should I do? What should I do?
So Seth just seems like he's one of my virtual characters that I create for the show. Right now I can't hear him and he's very stuttery. I think we're getting a lot of lag on his end. So hopefully we can resolve that. I'm going to boost the room settings here in the control panel. Okay. Seth, I can't hear anything you say it looks like you've got yeah, okay. So I've got a bunch of stuff queued up, not like fantastic stuff, but I worked on a few little segments here to try to jazz things up. And I still have to compliment you on this set. This is is this what's in the background? Is it?
It's just Denver. I literally just Googled Denver through a window because I was trying to make my own ghetto Denver version of a late night studio. But it's the afternoon, so
I I
afternoon
love
works.
it. It's absolutely wonderful. So there's like a windmill farm back there behind you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that is
otherwise known as a bird graveyard for people who don't know the bird graveyard thing.
I don't know. I feel like compared to like just a glass building, yeah, probably not that bad.
Well, if Seth, if you can hear us and you're having connective issues, we'll still go through your stuff, and you can just be in the chat for now, and we can shoot again to have, because I'd really love to have a conversation with you about some of the things that you create and your background and why you're doing what you're doing, because it's kind of like I feel that I'm doing sort of the same thing, and I often wonder, it seems ridiculous, like sometimes when I'm spending all this time putting hours into making a video about these weird right-wing grifters. It's I'm not sure it's the greatest use of my time, but sometimes I feel like I'm just compelled to have to do it. So I'd love to have the conversation, and don't stress out. We can do this anytime. If you have some issues, we'll work it out somewhere in the future. But definitely, we're Toasted and I will go through your content. We see you, but you're just.
He was talking for a little bit before. I did hear him. Yeah. But yeah.
And I'm gonna take a moment and see if we can. I'm gonna switch up the YouTube here. Digby's going to. Where's Digby? What happened to Digby?
No, Digby.
Here's Digby. He's here today.
Nice.
Hi, everybody. I'm gonna roll the intro for the show right now.
This is TERMCAST IRL with your host, Terminal Mode, featuring America's darling, Digby the Robot.
So yeah, that's the intro, and now I'm the host of the show. Check me out. Okay, that's not going to work, Digby. I'm the host of the show. No, I'm the host of the show. Okay, I'm going to show you who's in charge here, Digby. This is me, and you're right next to me, and I am the host of the show. So you're just going to sit tight. We'll let you participate in the show, though, because this is a community show. It's a participatory show. All right. So Seth seems to be having some connectivity issues. He mentioned that he hadn't joined a live stream before, and it took me.
Is this working now?
We got Pantha.
Yay! Worked.
Hooray!
Pantha's here, so we've got 3 people. This is
we're
really building a show out here. So Digby, Pantha, can you hear me? I heard you a second ago.
Yeah, I got it working now.
Okay, Digby did something for you, and he wanted to share it. That's right, Pantha. I made a video using my advanced AI technology. Would you like to see it?
Yes, Digby, I would love to see a video you made.
Okay, here it is.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead while I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, see you every time.
Hello, Turtle Time and BB. It's good to see you all. Right now, we're just going through an AI video that Digby made for Pantha. Okay, so there was that.
Wow, that was disturbing and entertaining.
Yeah, no, that song's too much of a bop for it to be disturbing.
That song is great. That song is great. I love that song. I love it. And what's funny is it was included with an AI package that I downloaded from GitHub. I'd never heard the song before, and it's just it's a driver to animate still frames. And
yeah. The song got stuck in my head one time at the driving range, and I didn't even know that it was sung in English, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and I was like, I cinco. I thought it was in Spanish or something, and then I learned better. It's Dance Monkey for anybody trying to find it.
So I'm going to address the chat again. Welcome, Turtle Time. We have Toasted Zergling here, who is also in Colorado. He's in the lovely city of Denver. You can see the the windmills in the background, or as I mentioned before, the bird graveyard. And BB always here. There was something I wanted to mention to BB. I'm working on a video that you will like, since I know BB loves that we shot a zoo video. I got another Christy Gnome video in the works, but I'm still distracted with some other things, so I'm going to try to put that together soon. And A Human is here, lovely A Human. We're trying to mix it up this week. Justin could not make it because Justin has a play date. So, but Toasted Zergling is here, and he's got his very professional set and his fancy desk. So, more than adequate replacement for Justin. And we've got Pantha here, and it's going to be great because I made a few. Whoa! I made a few videos to share with everybody, and we were supposed to talk to Seth, whose channel is at the Reductio, about his animations. He spends a great deal of effort on these animations, and they're lovely and funny and very niche humor because the characters are not people who most people are familiar with. So I'm going to play Seth's video first. So I'm going to start the show by sharing a video by the Reductio, and his channel again is youtube.com at the Reductio. So let's share this video. Let me know if everybody can see it. Can you all see it?
Yep.
I see it from my secret side, but we'll see if YouTube sees it in a second.
Okay, I need to open up the YouTube window so I can check it out. So here is the Reductio's video on Stephen Miller.
Hi, I'm Stephen Miller, and I'm here to tell you about America First Legal Defense. Have you been slapped with criminal charges for assaulting an immigrant family with your car to protect our women and children from dangerous brown rapists? Did you hit your wife in accordance with sincerely held Christian beliefs only to find yourself on the business end of a stack of divorce papers? Were you accused of sexual assault despite the incident happening on your own private property? Have you had Child Protective Services called on you for beating your disobedient shithead of a child? Did a misguided police officer viciously ask you to stop yelling whore at the women entering your local abortion clinic? Has your city discriminated against you for being healthy by repeatedly ticketing you for parking in handicapped spaces without a placard? Finders keepers, bitch! Then America First Legal Defense is here for you. At America First Legal Defense, we fight racism, gender discrimination, and infringements on free speech. If you are white, male, and demanding a platform, give us a call at 1-800-555-1488. I will be sitting here personally awaiting your call. Do not forget about me.
Okay, I think that video is... Whoa. Oh, was that in the video? Why do we hear automobiles right now? Was that you? Toasted, are you inserting audio? No?
No, that wasn't me at all. I didn't hear any
Maybe
audio.
it was just in the video.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that video is great. And for people who don't know Stephen Miller, he's one of the longest hangers on in the Trump administration, and he actually got his start as an aide to Jeff Sessions, who was Trump's first attorney general. Jeff Sessions was on the right. He was the first person to really lean into supporting Donald Trump. And Jeff Sessions is a rabid, anti-immigration person. And Stephen Miller was his assistant. And he's like, even though Jeff Sessions is gone, Trump got rid of Jeff Sessions, he's kept Stephen Miller on, and Stephen Miller has a powerful role in the administration. And he's just a terrible racist and horrible person. Mac of Keld says, when did Beanie Boy become a Beanie Man? It's been a long journey for me. So I could go into it, but right now I'm going to share a little video that Digby made about Stephen Miller. Digby, where are you? Digby needs to come back. Digby. Oh, sorry guys. I was deep in thought, thinking of my next cool AI video, but I'm going to share one with you about that guy, Stephen Miller, that I made. All right, please do, Digby.
The lucky ones are dead. Of the others, some will go mad. The others will slowly rot away and die in gradual agony. We have won the war. We are the sole survivors. America now belongs to us.
Okay, thanks, Digby. That was very interesting. I think that comes from a B movie called Frankenstein versus the Space Monster, and that sample has always been in my head. The lucky ones are dead. It was in a song. I should have referenced it, but anywho, it was a great video, Digby. It was very convincing, and I'm glad that you made it for us. No problem. If anybody in the chat ever wants me to make a video, hit me up. Let me know your ideas, and I'll put it together for you. We can make it happen at no charge for a limited time.
Yeah, you should probably charge something, Digby.
Not even electricity?
Yeah, I mean, considering that we're using NVIDIA hyper expensive energy to make these videos, Digby, I think that's probably not a great idea.
And probably to pay for the repairs from last time because you got slapped around and fell apart.
Yeah, I don't know if people saw that, but Digby exploded at the end of the last show. He lost his marbles. That's not true. Don't go back and look at that video. I was perfectly fine. Nothing happened to me.
All your eyeballs are in the right place.
Look at the tree says Beanie Shapiro. Yes, I'm Beanie Shapiro. I actually put my outfit on today. I haven't worn this uniform for a long time. I bought this uniform to make videos with or to just chat with Justin T. Brown of the If Only channel and Chuds of TikTok from Twitter. We were just hanging out together, and I thought it'd be funny if I popped on, our video chats wearing a stupid outfit. So here I am, and I'm wearing it again. So it looks like we might have Seth again. If anything, Seth is making the show wonderful because
I am.
The chaos.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing more pixels than last time. I like it.
You're moving now.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Okay. So
I had to switch to a Chrome-based browser, Chromium-based browser. So I had to download Chrome. This is what you make me do.
yeah, you don't use Chrome. Do you use like Vivaldi?
I do not use any Google products. Firefox all the way.
You've got a bit of an echo, so we're getting two audio channels from you. So you either have to disable like your desktop audio, and it can be tricky.
Okay.
So, but we're getting you twice, which is normally a thing that I do to my guests like Justin and Pantha. They normally get the treatment. Toasted Zergling really knows what he's doing. He's in tech. So
What about this? Is this?
Oh, that's perfect. Great.
Fantastic.
All right. Does it sound good to you guys, Toasted and Pantha?
Oh yeah, clear to me.
Okay. Woke Mike is here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, he's good. It's not where it was before.
Okay, awesome. Welcome, Woke Mike. He couldn't join us yesterday because he was watching. I wasn't streaming yesterday, but he thought that the stream was yesterday or today, or I don't know. I'm confusing myself now. So, but welcome. We're talking to Seth, otherwise known as my good friend Hammy. He has a YouTube channel called The Reductio, and we were here to discuss why people like us spend so much energy making these little creations about obscure, for most people, obscure figures. Can you give me a little bit of insight of why you do what you do?
Me first?
Yes.
Okay.
Hammy.
So there's a story that Greg Turkington, who is better known as Neil Hamburger,
Love Neil Hamburger,
tells, where he used to make music as the Zip Code Rapists, and it was awful stuff. It was just like it was just a poorly recorded guitar and him screaming. That's it. Like no drums, nothing like that. And he said that the feeling that he was going for, the reaction that he was going for, is he wanted someone to put it on and listen to it and think to themselves, someone pressed this? Like someone actually expended effort to produce this? And that was that's kind of what I'm going for. I guess is I want people to go, why? Because we live in such a ridiculous world now, that it just seems right to sort of go with it, to roll with it, and that involves partly lampooning figures who, in some ways, or maybe there's my cat. In some ways, there may be unknown or not really relevant or behind the scenes. And so there's that element, there's the absurdist element, but then there's also, these people are ridiculous people, and they deserve to be shown as such. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like you made an animation of Mike Cernovich, and for people who don't know Mike Cernovich, he's a right wing. I think he's a lawyer, or former lawyer. I think he's got a law degree. He was one of the people involved in promoting Gamergate. So he pushed that narrative, which was just absolute bullshit. He's also the person who got Sam Cedar fired from MSNBC for going through his tweets and trying to find something racy. So Mike Cernovich is I think Sam Cedar calls him Weird Mike. He's a strange figure. He's obscure, and if you dig into his personal life, he's very odd. But hardly anybody knows him. So it's funny. I find it amusing that you spent all the time to make an entire animation about Mike Cernovich. And
you can't let that voice go to waste.
So I love that. I wanted to get back to, you mentioned I think Turkington and what is kind of what I'd consider like anti-art or subversive art. My hero is Marcel Duchamp and the Dadaists. I love Dada. The movement was started as kind of a reaction to the crass commercialism of art markets and how art tends to be this thing, basically a way of rich people laundering money. So the Dadaists tried to subvert art by doing radical things in the field. Like famously, Duchamp submitted the toilet to an art exhibit to make people question how they feel about art and what is art and whatnot. So he's a hero, and I love that kind of stuff. Like generally art as people in the mainstream consume it is like, a picture of a horse or whatever, silly things. But I like art that really says something. And the Dadaists kind of are, I think Turkington considers himself something of that. Like the art that he does is very, Neil Hamburger is very subversive. If you watch him, he can be very offensive, but it's very funny, that kind of subversion. Anybody,
and also just in real life, the nicest guy you could ever hope to meet. Seriously, just ridiculously nice. If you ever get a chance to see him, I don't know if you've seen him, but and go up to speak to him. It's not like your typical celebrity encounter. He's just a genuine guy.
Yeah, those people are the best. And I wanted to talk to you about I think it's funny that you have this academic background in which you've had to write a doctoral thesis and everything, and then basically because I'm assuming that the reason you're doing this type of thing is because that's a really competitive market in liberal arts. Any of these fields in which it's not a vocational school, those positions are extremely hard to get, and they're basically first if you're there, you stay there for a very long time. So anybody recently who gets these liberal arts degrees, which I consider to be really valuable, struggles because you have to do something else with it. So can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was really, really dead set on an academic career for a long time, obviously, which is why I pursued a doctorate. But then I guess it was around 2016 where Trump wins, and just that sort of like there was a metaphysical break almost with what was like real. And so I'm just like, that really made me think, what am I even doing? What is the point of what I'm doing? And I had always spoken to my then advisor, Hans Georg Muller, who has his own channel, Carefree Wondering.
He's your advisor?
He was my advisor.
I love his channel.
Oh.
I love his philosophy too. The whole prophelicity versus authenticity thing really speaks to me. I love pretty much everything he does. So that's awesome. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just
no, that's fine. That's cool that you know who he is.
Well, let's shout out his channel. Not that anybody, he's got a much larger channel, but if anybody's interested in his, his philosophical stuff, it's Carefree Wandering on YouTube.
Yeah, and we would speak about how philosophy was done nowadays, and this is true for much of philosophical history. Which I had my PhD in philosophy. I don't know if you mentioned that. But for much of its history, it wasn't really done by academics, the really important stuff. David Hume was famously sort of turned down for every position that he applied for. The guy on whom I wrote my dissertation, Max Stenne, the German thinker, he was a milkman basically. And so it was just that really sort of this idea that you don't even make a difference in the academy was really salient, and it was really apparent at a certain point. And so that was like a quarter life crisis, I guess, that I went through at that point. And so I spent like a couple of years just kind of going through the motions, adjuncting, and which is just, you hardly get paid anything for that. You almost spend more money than you do receive. And so eventually I just lost interest. It was just not something that I wanted to pursue professionally. And so I kind of, decided, I thought to myself, well, what do I want to do? And then I thought, I took this route, and it was just kind of unfulfilling in the long run. But I've always been really good at like ridiculing things and people.
Hence, reductio ad absurdum, right?
Exactly.
For people who don't know, in philosophy, the fallacy of reductio ad absurdum is where you take somebody's position and you just basically illustrate how it leads to an absurdity. And so, and that's what your work does on YouTube. But you basically, a lot of your videos, you can see that the reductio in it. Like your let's play your which one, the Charlie Kirk video, if you don't mind. Can I interrupt you, or do you want to continue?
Please.
Okay, we're going to play the reductio, another video from the reductio to illustrate reducing something to absurdity. Let's see if I can find it here. Sorry, okay, I got it queued up here. And I'm still new to this, so I'm trying to learn how to do things efficiently. And I'm managing a lot of levers here to try to make this thing look different than traditional shows. So I hope everybody bears with me.
You're doing a great job, Termin.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to share a video here of how Seth, the Reductio, reduces his subject matter to absurdity. So can you guys see it? Do I have it up?
Looks good. Yep.
Okay.
So they said, no, Dave. Actually, Little Debbie is problematic.
Your sound work.
We call them miniature Debras now. True story. True story. It was making the midgets mad. Oops. I said midgets, didn't I? I hope I don't get canceled. But hey, let me present the man of the hour. It's the undergrad annihilator, the freshman finisher, the student sarcophagus himself. Yeah. Should we take our first question? Here at the mic, we have Mr.
Dan.
Mr. Dan. What you got for us, Danny boy?
Yeah. So, Charlie, I've heard you say that moral relativism is the biggest threat to society today.
You heard me say that?
What the?
What is that supposed to mean?
Hey, Chuck, I think you...
Hold on.
It's relativism that gave us postmodernism, abortion, and the alphabet mafia. It must be opposed at all costs. Something is wrong, it's wrong for everyone, everywhere.
Next. Hey, what's your name, little girl?
Excuse me?
Uh-oh. I just assumed your gender, didn't I?
You called me little girl. That's extremely condescending. I graduate at the end of the year.
Graduate from where? The cosmetology school for people who only dye hair blue?
Anyway. My question is for Charlie Kirk. With Trump in office, how close do you think we are to a nationwide abortion ban?
Oh, look, it's more leftist hysteria. I trust Trump, okay? If he said he'd reject a nationwide abortion ban, then he'll reject a nationwide abortion ban. Promises made, promises kept. But he wanted it left to the states, and I agreed that that's the best path forward in the fight for the preborn.
Meanwhile, the fight for good questions rages on.
I love the bad jokes.
Sorry, that's my bad. My bad.
Let's get to the next one.
Hey, Charlie. I just wanted to make sure I heard you right. You said that you reject cultural relativism, which is the claim that the moral status of an action varies across time, space, and/or culture. Is that right?
Whoa, guys. I think I just found the person to sit behind an academics class.
That's right.
And you believe it's best to leave abortion up to each individual state?
Correct.
So, if abortion is condemned as murder in one state and a perfectly acceptable medical procedure in another, doesn't that imply that abortion's moral status is relative to each individual state?
Well, of course not. It's murder in every state.
Oh, okay. So it's more like murder is only wrong in some states then.
No, this is fake news.
It's not news, it's a question.
Wait, is that a gray hair?
Huh?
I knew it. This isn't a student, it's a professor.
That's my cat's hair.
Guards, remove this interloper. Remove her, I say.
Hey, let me go.
If this was the old days, she'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. To the psychiatric hospital for hysteria. Ooh, my knees.
But you should be used to sore knees by now, shouldn't you, Dave?
again, we've got obscure figures that some of the people in the chat probably realize. Dave Rubin, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's not that obscure. Charlie Kirk's kind of regained a lot of power now that Trump's back in office. He was like fading into obscurity because he was the Turning Point USA organization was designed to try to draw out the young vote and create enthusiasm for voting for the interests of senior citizens. But Charlie Kirk's super powerful now, and that's a scary thought because he's a crazy dude. And for people who don't know, Charlie Kirk is the son of the architect who designed some of the Trump buildings. So he's not a product of meritocracy, and he's the guy who says that you shouldn't go to college, which is, there's arguments both. I mean, Seth, you could probably speak to this too on both sides. I think college is way too expensive these days. Obviously, it should be free, but and the quality of education seems like it is diminished since, over time in America. It doesn't seem like we're getting the same kind of rigor that we used to get. And I don't think that I'm not that interested in, engineering school and vocation. I think college should be exactly what it was in the past. It was liberal arts. It was intended for the elite class was supposed to go here in their spare time so they could broaden their horizons and not be closed-minded fascists. So that's the origins of the system. And that's partly why they don't want, people they don't want a college education for people, because they want to keep people kind of in this state of not really being aware of why things are the way they are. They don't want you to understand philosophy. They don't want you to understand politics. They don't want you to understand these things because you're easier to manipulate if they can just say, COVID was started to bring about socialism in America, those type of things.
Well, also just think of the narrative surrounding university right now in the States. It's to get a job, and anything that is not turning you into a worker, essentially for another drone for Amazon, is considered illegitimate or a waste of time. And that is, I think, you could say, easier to manipulate, but also they just want workers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's like the origin of I wanted to, Digby actually had a video about this, that he didn't create this one, but he found it and he thought it was relevant to the conversation. So Digby, did you want to share this video? I gotta hold on one second. Digby, I'm sorry. He's kind of inactive. Yeah, I'll share that video you told me to find. Okay, here it is.
You're it. Now you are the one who is it. Understood.
Well, I've got to hand it to you, Seymour. These drab student coverings have created the perfect distraction-free environment, thus preparing the children for permanent positions in tomorrow's mills and processing facilities. Best of all, with less than a minute to go before I leave, absolutely nothing has gone wrong.
There it was. I hope that was worth it. Yeah, we're clearly gonna get demonetized for this, but I like that bit of writing there about how the kids are being prepared for the mills and factories, because that kind of was the project of education throughout.
Was that even edited? I thought that was just like a regular Simpsons episode.
It is.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Digby made it. Okay.
No, he found the clip for us because he thought it was relevant to the conversation. I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about the public education project throughout the United States and how it was more of a means of getting you to show up on time, follow instructions, do these things. And it wasn't intended to, my cat's going to bust on the door. I'm going to have to take a moment here. 1 second.
Let Squish in. Let him in.
I'm going to switch up. Toasted, do you have any questions for Seth? Well, I'll let you ask Seth some questions, since he mentioned Amazon drones, and I thought you might want to push back on that a little bit.
Oh, no. So I'm ex-Amazon. I've left the hyper-global mega corporation thankfully. So, but I have dealt with the war scars to prove it. Since you're the philosophy major, let's just go like stupidly deep right off the bat. Like, what do humans owe each other? I feel like as citizens of the world, we never discuss that. Like, we talk about good and bad people, but like, what do we really? What even do I owe to my neighbor? Why should I even be a good person? Why are we making these videos to change the world through ridiculous nature? Like, what's the point of it all? What?
Jesus, man. You just spring all this on me all at once.
Well, Terminal left, so the adults left the room, so I got put in charge. For
I missed the racy questions.
Oh man.
He asked me what I was wearing.
Do you like soup? Yes.
No, yes, a good question. What do we owe one another? I mean, I guess I would go back to social contract theory. It's not really a hip thing to talk about so much anymore. But I mean, if you look at the very least, I think pretty much every social contract theorist would agree we owe each other the courtesy of not harming them. At the very least, even the sort of most unhinged, spittle-mouthed libertarian would grant that, I think. But on top of that, that's I think where things get interesting. I like John Rawls.
He's my favorite.
I hate. He's a terrible prose stylist. But
the book does not need to be this thick.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
For those unaware of John Rawls, could you summarize for a layman?
Yes. So John Rawls had this idea that if you wanted to arrive at a truly just society, then you have to imagine what kind of society you would devise from behind what he calls a veil of ignorance. So you don't know what your race is, what your gender is, what your class is. If you know none of these things, then what kind of society would you design? And he reasoned that you would design a society. There you go. You would design a society in which the worst off are as well off as possible, because you don't know if you're going to fall into that group. And I mean, I've got quibbles with Rawls and a lot of them, but for the sake of answering Toasted's question, I would say, yeah. I mean, I guess that's the tool I would use to arrive at an answer to that question.
I like it. If you want to know the motivation behind my question, it's less deep philosophical for the sake of philosophical. It kind of ties in back to why do we even stream? What is the point of it? I often find what is my actions even doing? Am I doing this to make the world a better place? Am I even doing that? How would I even measure that? What is the point of any of this right now? What is the point of us doing this right now? So that's where I come from, and I ponder these wonderful, meaty things once in a while, but I don't really make tons of progress.
I know Seth probably has a really good answer to that, but I like to chime in and kind of give my perspective, because I do also have deep feelings of nihilism and pointlessness, because if you read science, you kind of get the feeling that a lot of what we're told about souls and about heaven and whatnot is kind of not. There's no evidence for it. And the more and more you read, Pantha could talk about, Pantha's big into biology and whatnot. And she can talk about Richard Sapolsky's work and how his latest book about how we don't have free will, which is a very despairing concept for a lot of people. So if my position is, if you start from this position of, traditional morality and religion is based on falsehoods and can be easily manipulated by charlatans, you should come up with a morality based on the best possible morality possible. If you're making morality up, you don't want to just say, oh, here's this old text, this old tome, and it says, don't eat shellfish. Here's where you go poop, and that type of things. All of these things are in the Bible. You want to create the most comprehensive system of morality. And that's I think I go from my nihilism to John Rawls, that you're going to create the system where if you did not know the station in life you were going to be born into, because life is just a lottery. We have no control over, who our parents are or what traits we're going to be given. So the idea is you would create the best system of morality. And as far as like what I've read, and it's been a long time since I've read a lot of ethics and whatnot, but John Rawls comes closest to some of the ideas that I think are most humane and create the fairest society that we could have. Whereas like the counterparts are the libertarians. Robert Nozick famously wrote the rebuttal to John Rawls's work, and it's called Anarchy, State, and Utopia. And basically, Nozick is not like the modern libertarians as we know it. Nozick was a thinker. He wasn't somebody who just wanted to rationalize having no taxes and being able to have sex with 16-year-old girls. Nozick was a real thinker, and he basically had a thoughtful rebuttal of John Rawls' principles. And the idea is that we should have a limited government that basically acts as a night watchman that makes sure that your basic liberties are protected. Going back to what Seth was saying about social contract theory, that the government's only role is to do that. And it would be okay if we had thinkers like that in power in some levels, because they're thoughtful and they can bounce off ideas, rather than what we have now is just people who just have pure personal agendas. So I'm rambling now. I'm going to hand off to Seth or Toasted or whoever has, or Pantha. Pantha is our Digby.
Yeah, we were wanting to hear Digby's thoughts on this.
Are you guys sure about that?
Are you a philosopher, Digby? What's robo-philosophy like?
Robo-philosophy. Yeah, I'm a philosopher. Have you guys heard this song by BDP called My Philosophy? It starts off with that question. He says, "So you're a philosopher?" And then the guy says, "Yes, I think very deeply." So check out that song by Boogie Down Productions. That was a really strange segue there, Digby. Maybe you could break it up. Digby, you made another AI video, didn't you? That's right. And it's completely irrelevant to the conversation, but I feel like we should drop it in just to derail everybody's line of thinking.
I like it. Nice segue. Flawless, Digby.
Okay, Digby.
Flawless.
I think you played this one earlier, but it's a different iteration of it. So first we're going to go back. We saw Seth Stephen Miller video, but for people who missed it, I'm going to play the first video. This is from a Digby's interpolation of a B movie called, I think it's Frankenstein versus Space Monsters. So somebody, if I'm wrong, let me know. So Digby, roll that clip.
The lucky ones are dead. Of the others, some will go mad. The others will slowly rot away and die in gradual agony. We have won the war. We are the sole survivors. America now belongs to us.
Okay, so Digby, yeah, now I'm in charge again. That video was just kind of playing around with face swapping and doing some Seth in terminal mode. We're talking about voice cloning and how 11 Labs is basically allowing people to clone their neighbors' voices and their own voices, but not to use the tool as it was intended, or not intended, but should be, to fight the power, man. We got to fight the power. So here's a video like that other one, but featuring another guy. Oh, that video's not playing, Digby. What happened?
The lucky ones are dead.
Crap.
Of the others.
Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm not sure why it's not playing, though. Can people see it? Apparently, I did the same video, but...
Oh, my God. No, I want to see this one so bad. Just the first frame of it, I'm laughing at.
I'm not sure why it's not playing. Digby, there's something wrong with Digby. He broke down last week. Anyways, we're going to play something else here. This is Pantha. She's our kind of a show director. She kind of gets me back on track and tries to keep the show focused. So this is Digby's AI video about her. So, and this was done with a still frame and a video used to drive the still frame. Biggie, I think that's enough. I think I've derailed we were having a pretty good conversation there about John Rawls and Nozick and all that, and I derailed it. So anyways, Toasted, you said you had other questions that were going to really change the tone of the show, other than the other question you asked. You've got all these black-pilled questions. So.
What is? I'm not even sure. What does
know
that even mean?
Black-pilled is like, you could either be red-pilled, which is like you buy into.
Yeah, I know the Matrix kind of reference, but yeah. Well, explain it before I cut you off. Sorry.
Black-pilled means you are basically just a nihilist and you don't think anything matters, and it's got a wide range of connotations, but sometimes it's related to the incel community, but I don't necessarily relate to I don't relate it to the incel community. I just relate it to being a doomer. You know, the doomer meme with the beanie and the cigarette or whatever. That's how I consider black pill. That you don't think that anything matters and you're just whatever. So
I'm the doomer here. I didn't realize.
I think maybe we're all doomers, but we use I use philosophy as a way of trying to think that things are going to be okay. That if we can get everybody to see.
That's one of my questions. Actually, great segue. Are you optimistic about the world, or think that people should be optimistic about the world?
Yeah, see, I'm not an optimistic person, and I have a very dim view of humanity myself. But I
like you want to be, though. Like you're like, I want to be happy. I want to be positive.
Yeah, I think that's like, I think that we don't have control over our own existences, and we're born into this state, and it's incumbent upon us to try to make the best of a bad situation. And that's why when I see people who are working to the other end of trying to miserate people and make life hard, that's why I feel like compelled to try to do things. But it's so hard these days. There's like, activism is really difficult to do. In certain areas, there's just no place you can go and, find a bunch of like-minded people. Here in Arizona, I went to the DSA meeting.
I'm going to interrupt a second. I think you still have it on Digby.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Carry on.
Like here in Arizona, it's a very conservative place. A lot of libertarian movement started here with Goldwater, and really hard to find activists, in certain communities. I went to the DSA here, and it was a very disheartening experience because it was very small, and of the people there were very few people who seemed really connected. A lot of the other people just seemed like it was a social event for them. So like in lieu of having actual ways of being active, we canvas, we do these things, but a lot of times it feels like you've got to put that energy somewhere and think that it makes a difference. And that's why I make some of the videos that I do, even though I'm not sure they really do make a difference. I think they do comfort people and they make people laugh sometimes, but and I appreciate that, but I always wonder what might be a more efficient use of my time. And Seth, do you feel the same way?
You know what? I'm perfectly happy screaming into the void.
I like it.
I guess I'm a bit of an existentialist in this way. I'm just Sisyphus, man. I'm just pushing the boulder up the hill because it's all I can do.
I think I'm kind of with you there. Like I kind of am. I don't know that I'd consider myself black-pilled. Like I definitely have zero optimism. I feel like any hope of like the world becoming good or better, or like 8 billion people sustaining for a long time, I have zero hope of that. But like at the same time, I do enjoy like my unique spot in history. Like not everybody gets to see the end of the world, and it's kind of crazy and fascinating. Like I kind of enjoyed the absurdity, and like I just like being able, I like that I can just say it like, this is crazy, like we have space lasers and jet planes, and like the world is nuts, like we live in sci-fi technologies, and like I love being able to step back and being like, yeah, I remember the 80s, like they were very different. This is crazy shit. Like, yeah, I'm living in a movie right now. Like to me, it's so I can like accept that and like accept my like role in that and realize I don't think I'm going to change the world. Like I know I can have positive impacts here and there, but like ultimately, yeah, like I'm not going to single-handedly change the destiny of humanity. Like I don't think there's any of us who think that, but yeah.
I'd like to tie Seth just mentioned existentialism, and you mentioned this particular perspective, which I always have to tie conversations back to Kurt Vonnegut, who's like my favorite author. In the book Cat's Cradle, he basically creates a religion that's supposed to give people meaning in the face of meaninglessness. And part of the religion was that people are just made of mud, but we are very lucky mud that we get to experience reality, and we can see these things transpire. It's that famous quote by Carl Sagan that we are made of stardust, and we are the universe's way of knowing itself. So there is that perspective, which can be profound, in times of darkness. But it's really hard when we live in a system in which the media basically the U.S. media does not want to inform us. It just wants to engage us and keep us tied up so they can sell us, pharmaceuticals and automobiles. So that's problematic, is we never really get a true perspective of what's going on through our media system. I'm rambling, so I'm going to hand it off to whoever wants to pick up the conversation. Pantha, did you want to direct us anywhere?
I would just like to say that some very deep thoughts from a man in a sparkly suit.
Thank you.
That's just the green screen, I assume.
Yeah, I feel like it's because like the sun is setting, my lighting and like the chroma coloration is
cool.
changing, so it's just getting more absurd. But yeah,
it's actually pretty cool. It's like a disco suit or one of those things that you'd wear out. So,
well, I mean, I've got something maybe that I can add. If you feel like you can't draw on a well of hope or optimism, I can't really either. It's just not my temperament. Then the next best thing is to draw on a well of spite and sort of making things as difficult as possible for the people who are committing these crimes. Crimes against the globe, essentially, and the entire planet. And there are a lot of ways you can do that, and any way you choose, it's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
So would you say that when you make a video, you're not necessarily hoping to change somebody's mind, but just a slim chance that the person you made the video of sees it and gets a little bit pissed off and offended?
That's the whole. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Seth. And I'd like
both.
to add.
I would say both. But also you can just you sow seeds. There's the chance that the person who is the target of a video will see it. It's probably pretty much zero for all intents and purposes, but maybe some joke at their expense can begin circulating in the discourse, and that can eventually come to haunt them, I guess, that way.
So my good friend Justin, who's partly why I'm doing what I'm doing today, this whole show thing kind of evolved out of a long conversation that he and I have had over the past year, also with Chuds of TikTok, and it evolved into me again wearing this ridiculous uniform. His whole motivation these days is making a video that hurts somebody's feelings, and his main guy he's out for right now is Elon Musk. He wants to make a video that Elon sees, and Elon, gets upset about that. And it does seem to be a lofty goal, but Justin and I did create a video in which I think I'll share it. I'm going to share a video that Justin T. Brown and I did. Justin is of the If Only channel. So he and I made this video together, and we made it in one night. I was basically kind of I got to find Justin's channel. Let's see, Justin T. Brown. Okay. So speaking of, let's see here. Sorry, I'm slow. I should have had this queued up, but I didn't realize that it might be relevant. Okay, so I got this queued up. So Justin and I, Jordan Peterson was coming out with a music video, and he had posted it to YouTube, but he hadn't yet posted it to Twitter. And Justin said that he wanted to edit this video up and post it to Twitter before Jordan did, so we could confuse people. So I helped him gather footage, and he did this edit of Jordan Peterson's musical video, and this is it. Here we go. Let me know if you guys can see it. Is it up?
Yep.
Okay.
I had no idea that this was done in one night. That makes it even better.
we did this one night. Justin stayed up later than I did, but anyways, here it is.
Sweat, baby, sex is a Texas drought. Me, yeah, you do the kind of stuff that only Prince would sing about. So put your hands down my pants, and I'll bet you feel nuts. Yes, I'm Cisco, yes, I'm Ebert, and you're getting 2 thumbs up. Coming quicker than FedEx, never reaching apex. Just like Coca-Cola stock, you are inclined to make me rise an hour early, just like daylight savings time. Do it now. You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Do it again now. You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Getting horny now.
I want to fuck.
All right. So that was
beautiful. I've never actually seen the original Jordan Peter. Like, I didn't know that this was based on a music video. Is like that the footage from his music video, or is that just like compiled together from other stuff?
so he obviously the stuff on the TV he was not watching. That's the stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah, obviously that. But like,
That's
like the general him in a dirty apartment, like that kind of looked real. Like
that was the original video, and that's why people were confused about it. And it's a terrible video, if I remember right. Shoot.
Was that pig thing in his video too?
Yeah, the pig delivers the fast food, and Justin is an amazing editor that he made it look like he brings the pig in to have sex with.
Gotcha.
That's why Justin is so talented. And Justin also is a person I'd like to bring into the conversation, because he's a person who's so talented in terms of editing, but because he doesn't have, connection to, somebody at the top tier Hollywood, he's making YouTube videos. He's not somebody who should be doing this. He should be doing something, bigger. I don't want to say more highbrow, but it's unfortunate that people with true talent who don't necessarily fit the norms of what society expects often fall through the cracks. And that's why I made that point about Seth having a PhD and ended up making these videos. Myself, I have a couple degrees. Like after college, I had a hard time finding a job. I applied for a job as a hotel desk clerk at night because I just wanted a gig. I could not, even with my 2 degrees, they gave the job to somebody else. So and as a result, I spent my life kind of flailing around. I ended up just selling garbage on eBay. That became my job. And I feel like I look back on my life and I feel like a lot of my time was wasted because society didn't look at, there was no system that basically said, oh, this person has these talents, let's have them do this, because we have a system that just basically says, you have to work here and follow instructions. There's very limited opportunities for creative types, because the system doesn't like creative types. It doesn't want you thinking out of the box. It just basically wants you following orders for most jobs. So anybody want to speak on that?
No, I mean, no, that's, I suppose you think, I think things have always sort of been like that to some extent, because Nepo babies and connections really are, I mean, going back to the point about society and life in general being a lottery, that is really what it comes down to. It comes down to luck, and then what do we owe each other? Well, we can do whatever whatever is in our power to sort of compensate for the luck of the draw.
Yeah, I'm I tend to be like Tosa said, kind of cynical and dark, but it's not. It's probably more of a personal thing for me. I've never left Arizona. My opportunities probably would have been better if I would have skipped out of this place and found a place where more creative people were, rather than having to get a job at Schwab or something like that. I did want to mention that the Jordan Peterson video that we did make, Jordan Peterson blocked Justin after we released it. So Jordan Peterson may have seen that, and that's the whole goal of what Justin is doing. It's not like a monetary.
Nice, perfect.
It's to get people to feel a little bit of pain for what they're doing. And his video was like, going back to the video of how he's in this room, it's making fun of the working class people. It's a guy, he's making fun of a guy who's working in a taco shop or something like that, and how all this guy does is sit around and watch TV and drink, and that's why he's not successful, rather than seeing his life as a symptom of the environment that he's in, that for a lot of us, we don't have those opportunities, and so it all goes back to John Rawls. If everybody had better opportunities in life and we created a society that was structured around fairness, you would see less of that, and you would, Jordan Peterson, I don't know, the guy is so stupid, and that video is so terrible. And it's also funny that a 50-year-old guy is trying to make a music video like that to be cool, and everybody in his circle likes it just because it's Jordan Peterson. If you watch the original video, it is incredibly stupid. So
I don't. Would you even call it? It was just so WTF. Stupid. For me, it didn't even really enter the picture, because it's just so.
It was
like,
weird.
What is going on here? That's how I feel about a lot of Jordan Peterson.
The video itself, it was a criticism of. It was also a criticism of who's the philosopher that he hates, the French.
Derrida, Foucault.
Derrida, yeah. Derrida, and it's clear that he does not. I mean, for a lot of people, if you don't know Derrida is connected to postmodern philosophy, and it's basically a kind of a breakaway from traditional, classical empiricism and that type of theory. It's more rooted in trying to understand things in a moment of time and deconstructing symbols. It's very complex, and it's very
try
heady.
to explain Derrida, man.
Yeah, but Derrida is antithetical to Jordan Peterson, because Jordan Peterson believes in these Jungian archetypes, where you have these universal truths that exist through time, and he wants to say that this is the way, the world we live in. We have universal truths, and I'm the person who understands them and can decipher them. Jordan Peterson kind of wants to perceive himself as a prophet, whereas Derrida says these truths change through time, and symbols change, and meaning changes, and you have to understand things in the context of the moment. And so that's why he hates Derrida, is because Derrida basically undermines the idea that at one moment in time, this universal truth, the biggest universal truth, would be like God.
No, that's the thing. Jordan Peterson doesn't even believe in universal truths. He's like a self-professed pragmatist on truth. So truth is like what works. Mm-hmm. And so that's not like a universal Platonic form or something out there. Pragmatism itself is kind of you could say it's a relativist notion of truth. So he's a pragmatist. He's an obscurantist, which is what he accuses Derrida of being. Just sort of dresses these asinine statements up in the garb of academic jargon, and hopes no one notices. And a lot of people don't seem to notice. And why would they? Like, most people have not devoted as much of their life to learning as he has.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I think about Jordan Peterson is he's really resentful of the fact that he's not really considered like a serious academic. I think he really wanted that position. And whereas Derrida was like the cool person's philosopher. Like if you go and look at him, he was a hip dude, and he was connected. Like a lot of the French existentialists were this way, like Camus and Sartre. They were cool people, and they were heavily integrated into the culture. And people like, it was a strange period of time to have like philosophers like embraced. Like these days, when you think of philosophers, very few of them get adored or anything. You hardly ever hear about. Zizek, yeah, for sure. He's very different. Zizek is very different than the classical cool philosopher guys. I think people think he's cool, but he's also very goofy, and his seriousness falls into question. Where you think, like, if you read the works of Sartre or Camus, it's very dark, and it's thoughtful, whereas Zizek just seems like he wants to talk about toilets. So.
Zizek's done some serious scholarship.
I know that he has, but he's not known for that. He's known because of the documentary that Ray Fiennes' sister did, or whoever, on him. What was it?
I think it was Astra Taylor.
Yeah, he's known for that. I think that's how he broke through. And then people like he can be charming, but he's also like sometimes, I don't know. I guess every celebrity is that way.
He's a troll. He's a clown. Yeah. No disagreement on that. But he is the only one, the only philosopher who comes to mind who sort of hit that level of fame that someone like Derrida or the French existentialist did. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that highly of Derrida myself, but he's more serious than Peterson.
Yeah, with like Sam Harris was also somebody who tried to achieve this kind of philosopher status. Are you shaking your head at Sam Harris? But like, I mean, that it's like, I don't know whether philosophers should be celebrities. Like as a kid, I really looked up to Bertrand Russell. And like the more you read about Bertrand Russell, you realize there's some problem. He's kind of a weird guy. He's kind of not very nice a lot of times, but like he's kind of the entryway to philosophy for a lot of people, at least of this generation. Bertrand Russell, famously, for people who don't know Bertrand Russell, he wrote a book called Why I'm Not a Christian, and he got ostracized. He got canceled. He was one of the first people in America to get canceled. The right went after him because he wrote this book, and he has had a hard time getting a job. And so he was corresponding with Albert Einstein about his struggles to find employment. This is I'll speak of Bertrand Russell's background here in a moment, but he wrote to Albert Einstein about how he was having a hard time in America. And Albert Einstein famously responded to Bertrand Russell, great spirits have always faced violent opposition from mediocre minds. And it's a famous quote about how, if you think differently, you're always going to feel pushback from people. You're always going to struggle. So Bertrand Russell is like a philosopher pedigree, by the way. He's comes from the lineage of John Stuart Mill, who was the progeny of a friend of Jeremy Bentham. This is all heady conversation. I'm sorry if people don't get it, but Jeremy Bentham is the person who invented the system of utilitarianism, which is basically a good action is the one that promotes or a moral action is the one that promotes the greatest happiness. So Jeremy Bentham conspired with his friend to John Stuart Mill's father. They created this super genius philosopher, and Bertrand Russell is on this lineage. So there's this collection of people who are classic philosophers, but basically there are people who were extremely privileged, and anybody put in the situation where you have tutors and you have wealth could become somebody like that. And it goes back to John Rawls that if we all had these better opportunities, we'd all be smarter. We'd be engaging in a society in which people were better informed, and we'd have better lives, which is exactly the opposite of what the current administration is doing. They're creating a situation where you're not going to want to engage with anybody out there because they're likely to have stupid views because they're uninformed. And I am really rambling, and I'm sorry. That was a long, meaningless conversation for a lot of people, and I apologize for that. So
No, I was kind of proud of myself. I was like, I thought I was trolling here with these philosophy questions in the beginning, but I got Terminal cooking right now, man. He is on a roll. I am happy about that. You were speaking from the heart. There was no that was yeah.
Yeah, philosophy people, we tend to go off sometimes. At least I do. I just can ramble on, and I'm sorry. That's why Pantha is here, to try to interrupt me and keep us on track. We were supposed to watch, terrible segue here, but the whole point of having Seth on was we were going to watch his video, his new video, which I haven't seen, but I wanted to comment on the first joke. So I'm going to go back to Seth's channel, see if I can find it here.
I've heard of like some of these names that you guys are mentioning because I watched The Good Place, and that had a lot of philosophers in it. So like, I'm like, I've heard of these. Nice, okay.
Yeah, if you watch Lost too, you're probably familiar with John Locke and Jeremy Bentham. They just
there was a David Hume, I believe.
Oh yeah, there was a David Hume.
Yeah,
surprised they didn't have Francis Bacon on the show too. So we're gonna do the premiere. This is the world premiere of the Reductio's video, and I have no idea if this is going to be appropriate, but I'm playing it anyways. We're gonna so I'm gonna share my screen, and I always have to tell people that I'm sharing my screen. Let's see here. All right, let me know if it's up.
Yep.
Okay, so I wanted to start by this first joke here, which is I always talk about like how I think funny jokes are. The funniest jokes are the ones that require the most context and most understanding, and the least funny jokes are like fart jokes, and because everybody can understand fart joke. But like, you start off here with Plaque of the Year, which like requires some understanding. So most people are watching this, they don't understand that. They probably don't. Maybe they do. Toasted, do you understand that? Do you get the joke Plaque of the Year?
I did not pause the video to appreciate this slide. If I were to have sat here and looked at this, yes, the rest of it might have made more sense, but I just dove right in.
Plaque of the Year. Plaque is related to it's a double entendre, I guess it would be. So that made me laugh. My father had Parkinson's, and I can still laugh at something like this. I hope that you have a Louis body joke in here somewhere. So.
No, I missed out on that particular opportunity.
All right, so we're going to play this video.
The speech begins any minute. We need all hands on deck.
Relax, Amy. It's not like we haven't done this before.
We've done this before?
At least 3 times since the 80s, Bill.
Okay, well, world domination was still a pretty big deal the last time I checked.
Which means we're a big deal.
Some of us.
Okay, that's enough. What have you got for us, Bill?
Okay, are you ready? I say we have him order a pizza. But then when he gives the order, he tells him to hold the crust? Who would order a soggy container of cheese and sauce? A dementia patient, that's who.
We control the leader of the free world, Bill. We can think a little bigger than a prank phone call.
No one even orders pizza over the phone anymore, you dip.
There's no dips, just pizza.
He's going to be too busy delivering a speech to order a pizza. Why do I always get stuck with the boss's kids?
Incoming transmission from the outgoing tau proteins.
Okay, this is my chance to show Mission Control why I won the Plaque of the Year plaque. Initiate transmission.
Well, big guy, I guess the keys to the kingdom are all yours now. I know we've had our disagreements, but, Morning Joe keeps telling me, Corn Pop ain't such a bad guy once you get to know him. And that's Morning Joe.
Code Corn Pop.
Damn it! This is going to be a mess. Okay. Breathe. All right. Tell them thanks for the warning and that their message has been received.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. You break a leg out there.
What's Code Corn Pop?
Means we're going to have to walk past the Senate chambers to get to the stage.
So?
So have you seen the average age of the United States Senate? The United States Senate is basically one big boot camp for tau proteins. Half of the chamber will be full of proteins and plaques just like us, broadcasting directly from these dotards' desiccated, plugged brains. The signal interference from all those other teams is extremely difficult to navigate.
We've reached the Senate.
Maintain focus, Chip. You can do this.
It's like we used to say at Ole Miss. If you play with fire, if you play with fire, you might make a new friend. Yeah, that's it.
Help me, Mama. Help!
Don't you even think about it.
And we're clear.
Great job, Chip. How close are we to the stage?
We're there.
Don't f this up, Bill.
My fellow Americans,
Give him a little slur.
I come before you today to accept your inauguration.
Nice.
But let me tell you, this last guy left me a mess you wouldn't believe. People are saying, oh, everything's fine, but it's not fine. Look at the economy. Look at the borders.
The weave, Dill. Turn up the weave.
It's already maxed out.
Look at it. I don't know the water. Is the water even safe anymore? Who knows? I know. But they won't tell you.
Oh, yeah.
They're still biting.
Give me that.
But the water folks, my people are telling me you can't even put out the fires in California, even though the ocean's right there. Why don't they take some ocean and put it on the fire? Ocean beats fire because there's so much more of it. A good journalist would ask Governor Newsom. But our journalists aren't good journalists. Most of them don't even keep journals. Did you know that? A lot of people don't know that.
I bought these for you, President Trump.
Ooh, oh, very nice.
It's not working, Paul. That's enough. We're getting the clapper.
Who's the clapper?
He's the last resort. The final recourse. The nuclear option. The guy who Paul is going to fetch right now.
Whoa, he sounds like a big deal.
Remember Terry Schiavo?
The brain dead lady?
The clapper did that.
That was dementia? I thought that was a heart attack.
That's how good he is.
Here's the key to the clapper's cell. If you're not back in 3 minutes, I'm locking you both in there.
No.
I knew you'd come crawling back.
Hey!
Watch and learn, bitch.
That is unnecessary.
You give them billions and billions of dollars, California. Maybe even trillions. Quadrillions? Cotillions? Zigillions? Doubloons? Merriweather Post Pavilions. 10,000 billion-teen bojillion. Brazilians.
Oh, yeah.
Are we the ones with Alzheimer's? How the hell are they still cheering?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, if that was a wet one. Maybe we can put out the wildfires with that.
Speaking of fart jokes.
Yeah, there's a fart joke in here.
I'm not even forcing it. They just come out on their own now. My daughter Ivanka has a pair just like those. I know I probably shouldn't say that, but it's like my father always told me. Incest is wincest. And we're going to do a lot of winning, aren't we, folks?
Oh, please don't clap. This makes no sense. He just admitted to being a daughter f***er. The incest taboo is a cultural universal.
Incoming transmission from...
Who is it?
It's not any protein signature I'm familiar with. Let's patch it through the video feed.
Oh, hi. About that fluoride thing, what if we didn't just remove it, but replaced it with my new organic brain growth supplement? If we do it that way,
Let's just give him a stroke.
Thank God.
All right, I love the Earthworm Jim reference. and your animation seems like you're
All right, finally, new rule. Enjoy.
Starting Bill Maher. Let's not do that. Your animation has always been great, but I think I see some improvements in it. Do you feel like you've gained even greater competency of your skill set?
I actually just used a sort of a different approach this time. With like most of the time, I try to do it kind of realistically, but there's not really a realistic way to depict an anthropomorphic amyloid plaque or tau protein. So I just kind of went full cartoon on that.
I love that you went both the intellectual humor that a lot of people are going to, have to think about to understand, but also you put the fart joke in there just to make sure that the humor lands. Like
the marriage of high and low culture is something that is just almost holy to me.
Yeah, I think that goes back to Turkington again with
yes,
Neil Hamburger. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because now I can totally see some of your jokes are very you like making the joke from the other side, like having Dave Rubin make the bad joke seems like something you really enjoyed doing. And
yes,
I find that to be charming.
Yeah, he was one of the funnest characters to write, Dave Rubin, because he is so terrible, like his stand up, because he is a comedian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for people who don't know, I maybe everybody knows Dave Rubin, but Dave Rubin was like a talentless hack who was with the Young Turks, and he basically left because the left left him. No longer was there a place for a gay man with a husband who had in vitro. I don't know how they had their kids or whatever, but there's Dave Rubin, everybody, and he is just he's a frequent target of being really insipid and uninspired. Like even
does
Joe,
he have an audience? Like who?
Yeah,
have you met a Dave Rubin fan ever?
I think that the same holds true for a lot of these things. Like I wonder, have you seen the Elephant Graveyard video about the Tim Pool audience? It's a really good video about.
No, I haven't seen that.
You should check that out, because he reveals what the Tim Pool audience looks like, and the way he goes about it is very compelling. So I wondered, like Tim Pool doesn't seem. I have a hard time thinking that there are people who find listening to Tim Pool interesting, because basically he's just spewing. He's basically just like a modern version of Rush Limbaugh, basically just spewing out these talking points that are really only work for a certain class of people. But like anybody like younger than 30, 30 or 40, I can't imagine they listen.
Rush Limbaugh was a talented broadcaster, though.
Yeah,
Tim Pool is a charisma vacuum.
Yeah,
there's nothing there. Like even his voice is just like, how even if you like his politics, to the extent there are any, how can you stand the voice? Like I don't understand that.
Yeah. Dave Rubin, like clearly the both of these people are connected to was it Tenet Media, the Russian organization that was basically paying. I think Temple got like $100,000 per episode or something crazy, just an insane amount of money to talk Russian talking points. So both of these shows, in the age of social media, you have to wonder how much of anything is legitimate, because there's no you can never tell with the degree of botting and the degree of, you know, fakeness of everything. It's hard to tell what is popular anymore. I wouldn't think that Tim Pool or Dave Rubin would be popular anywhere, just because like somebody like Bill Maher just came up, but Bill Maher is like quick-witted, and he's an asshole, and he's an entertainer, you know. And so I see why people watch Bill Maher, but like Dave Rubin and Tim Pool,
Or even Rush Limbaugh. I
Rush
mean,
Limbaugh,
he
yeah,
was
for sure. Rush
really
Limbaugh
good at what he did.
He was quick, and he was also offensive, and he knew that kind of offended, you know, and he put on a good show, even though he was a horrific human being, and we're all glad that he's dead. He did what he did in a very good way, which I can't even think of anybody on the right that really comes close to that degree of, you know, talent. It's a bad word. I mean,
No. I mean, you can recognize talent. You know, I mean, bad people can be talented. Those are usually the worst people, actually. But yeah, no, I cannot think of anyone who. I mean, I guess like Ben Shapiro would maybe be the closest in terms of the role, the social role he's sort of fulfilled. But I don't think he's a particularly talented broadcaster.
And he's not like Rush. Rush had like gravitas. Ben Shapiro has none of that. I would almost say that like Steven Crowder is closer to the kind of content that Rush did. It was very racist, and he does a lot of skit comedy and things like that. But Steven Crowder, I don't think is talented either.
No, but he's more talented than Ben Shapiro.
Who, Steven?
Steve, yeah,
for sure.
You know, as a broadcaster.
Yeah, I mean he's like the worst of all of them, but he's probably the.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that quote that you had up there, Pantha. So put that back up. Sorry, we're okay. I'm glad, this is awesome that I've got my own Jamie. Pull it up, Jamie.
I'm trying here, buddy.
Digby was supposed to be the guy who does this, but that's good. So Dave Rubin says, I don't know why so many leftists insist on spreading their radical socialist ideas. That only makes important people avoid funding your career. I've left the left, and my life is way more prosperous now. The people at TYT should try to. Well, Anna Kasparian is trying it. So, yeah, the left thing. I guess even like to some degree, the entire show, like Cenk is kind of going that direction too, right?
I don't really. I've never consumed Young Turks content, but I you know, I hear occasionally, you know, some clips of Cenk or something, and it sounded like it was hard for me to parse whether he was going in that direction or if he was maybe trying to be politically savvy and appeal to, you know, the Trump people, like to sort of get them to come over. I don't know. I just know that there is never, like, you know, you've got Dave Rubin, you've got Jimmy Dore, who's even worse. It just, there seems to be a pattern of Young Turks people breaking bad, I guess.
Yeah. So Toast Zergling, I've noticed that you avoid a lot of the really terrible stuff that some of us.
You guys have opinions on all these people. I'm like, I don't watch any of them. I can't even form an opinion on them. Like, I've seen Tim Pool for like 2 minutes. That was enough to say never again. Like, so like the Young Turks. Like, I remember hearing like what's her face shrill on that show for like 3 minutes, and I was like, never again am I turning this on. Like, I don't know.
How do you do it? Because I feel like I don't want to know.
How do you get engaged? Like, I don't like, this is not my YouTube algorithm, does not ever feed me this type of stuff. Like, I don't search it out on Twitter whatsoever. Like, I don't even know how it finds you.
Pantha, how did you find out about Tim Pool?
Through you, of course.
So I find out through the right wingers, like usually like a little bit more because they get shit on more. So like I'll find them on like the memes, but like, yeah, like I don't know, like just crappy liberals that you guys are like listening to, or like, yeah, I don't know, like I don't consume them nearly as much.
Yeah, it's like, it's interesting because like if you like, I'm a totally online person. Like a lot of don't really socialize outside of being online, unless a family member wants me to come over or whatever, or an occasional really good friend I'll meet up for lunch or whatever. But I'm mostly online, so most of my experience and understanding of the world comes from like the way social media presents these people. So I have like a distorted view. Like I imagine I could walk through my entire neighborhood, like a square mile, and knock on these doors, and most of these people would have no idea who Tim Pool was, probably no idea who Jordan Peterson was, maybe a vague understanding of who Elon Musk is. Traditionally they
most
didn't.
People know Elon at this point. He is
He's in the news a lot now. But prior to this, like their understanding of Elon was he's the Iron Man guy. He's the guy, doing these things. He basically had curated public perception of him. So, anywho.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it very unproductive to listen to most people spout politics, and like it never seems like it goes anywhere. It gets me mad and does nothing, so I don't really seek it out too much. But
it's also really strange how people engage online. Like just like Twitter's like the worst of it, but just in general, like when you see somebody comment, it's immediately like just a instant attack of your politics or whatever. Whereas if you treated anybody in real life that way, if you went next door and you had a conversation and you just started talking politics with somebody and just arguing with them about Donald Trump, like the world would, I would not want to. The world is already one in which I'm not sure I want to exist in, but that world in which everything was political and your neighbors just constantly flaunting their Donald Trump flag in your face is just like a horrible idea. Joe Biden was not, like, I thought he was a terrible president. He was not my candidate, but even if he were, the idea of me wearing a Joe Biden t-shirt, putting a Joe Biden flag in my front yard just seems so strange. Yeah. So the fact that we have people who are doing that is odd to me. Do you guys have like people in your neighborhood who like have all the Trump stuff still up?
Yes, where I live, there's lots of Trump stuff still up.
I mentioned this before and it sort of doxes me, but within like a 40-mile radius of my house, there's somebody who has spray paint during the Biden administration. They spray painted "Let's Go Brandon" on their heat pump on top of their roof. So you drive by and you see "Let's Go Brandon." After the election, he did not take this down, but instead he put a flag up that says Trump won, and it's like,
their identity. I don't know. It's their football team. It's the only thing they have in the world. Everything else is going to crap.
It's sad that that's your guy too. But people just seem all consumed with it, and I like wonder like how do you even engage with somebody like that who's just all consumed?
I see you have a problem with like the Trumpers. I have a hard time even engaging with Democrats a lot of times. Like if I don't align exactly on their philosophies and policies, like I get accused of being a right winger or like promoting right wing talking points. Like it's like if you went back in time in like the 2018 Kristen Sinema election, and you're like, she's going to be a turncoat. She's not going to support our agenda. You shouldn't support her. Don't support the right wing talking points. Like, I don't know. Like you get attacked unless like you follow their orthodoxy, and then they'll be like, we got to be more inclusive. Be like, you shit on people all the time that want to join your side. Like it's so hard. Like it's so easy to be a right winger. You just start bashing the other people with them. But to be on the good side, the left side, you got to do everything perfect and say all the right things. And it's just like infuriating. So it's like, I understand why people give up, and there's so much apathy. Like I get frustrations with both of the sides totally. I mean, I obviously vote one way, but like
it sucks because any attempt to show like a critical perspective and a fairness is always met with that type of resistance. There was a tweet out, like I guess Charlie Kirk is saying that Chelsea Clinton took a bunch of money from, I don't know, like 84. It's like some debunked story, but like I had a reaction to it, and I said that the children of presidents are problematic. Nepotism and corruption at these levels of power and wealth are problematic on both sides. And Charlie Kirk's never going to point that out. He's just going to say, look at Chelsea Clinton, but like Ivanka and Jared in the Middle East and China and all these things, they never want to point those things out. And whenever you point it out and try to be like, yeah, both sides are problematic, you get the pushback from the left or the Democrats that say, yeah, no, that story was debunked. Well, you're missing the fucking point. It's about being critical. It's about critical thinking. It's about, not just buying into the narratives that we're fed. And we just, like, media literacy in America is atrocious. We have the worst media literacy possible. People just don't understand the reality. Like, I get it all the time. Like, I'll post a joke, on Twitter or wherever, and people think it's serious, because there's like, they don't even do a modicum of research to understand that it was sarcasm or whatever. Sarcasm is like really hard to do these days, and sarcasm is something that I rely on.
Well, it's difficult to convey through text.
For sure. That's why emojis are useful, but even then, it's hard to get people to understand. So. You're even more sparkly now, Toasted Zergling.
I know the lighting is getting really weird. I was like almost thinking I should go adjust my chroma key settings on the fly, but then that'll probably ruin it.
Are you using OBS?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Seth, is there any of your other videos you wanted to share and talk about? Is there something you're most proud of?
Something that, I mean, maybe the one, the Josh Hawley one.
It's hilarious. I should share my Josh. We both have done Josh Hawley videos, so I'm going to share, because it's related to some of the conversations we've had today. I'm going to share my Josh Hawley video first.
Okay.
And I'm also running the show, and I'm a brutal authoritarian. No, I just I'll use my show. I'll use mine first to lead into yours. Hopefully yours is better. So, but we're both. It's so strange. We're both focused on this figure who should have faded into obscurity, but now he's, again, like these other people, they're even more in power. So I'm gonna find my video here. Sorry, I'm terrible. I don't know what the best way to do this is and like be natural about it. Like, I'm not natural about anything. Everything I do always seems so
tried fixing my chroma, just made it worse, but I think it's even funnier now.
You should just be ahead.
Just a floating head.
It's like some Tim and Eric stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I don't know how long ago I made this video. I think I put it on YouTube. Okay. All right. So my video is called Libertine Insurrectionist Josh Hawley Drops Harsh Truth on Charlie Kirk's America Fest Audience 2022. So, and I made this video a year ago. And let's see. You should just be a floating head. Share. You guys let me know when it's up. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
It's up. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, here goes.
I want to talk about some weighty things, some serious things. And I just want to say to you today, life doesn't have any meaning. It's fundamentally atheistic at the core. It's my conviction that family is a prison, that marriage is a mistake, kids will ruin your life. There is no God. Seek your own pleasure. Go out and make your own way. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. Whatever you feel like doing, just go out and do it. Drug abuse, alcohol abuse, opioid abuse. Indulge yourself. Don't submit to any constraints. Don't believe in God. Don't get married. Don't have kids. No. Spend your time on video games. Spend your time jerking off and smoking weed. Live independently as long as you can. Don't make any decisions that would actually tie you down. Just indulge your passions and your whims. Choose your own gender. Say yes, I will turn on the computer. Yes, I will play some Elden Ring. Yes, I will watch online pornography. And if we do that together, we will change the future of this country. We will change the course of this country, and we will preserve this, the last best hope on earth.
So I went very dark with this video at the end. So there's that video.
My senator, everyone.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that's I mean, we mentioned mine.
I think that speech was actually recorded kind of down the street.
Really?
Yeah, for me.
He's terrible, you know, and he's again representative of how we don't live in a meritocracy. You know, he basically had this privileged life, and he had path set forward for him to legislate his own interests.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that he was your senator, and that's probably why you made a video. I made a video of him, and he's not even my senator. So that's how
he is one of the worst senators.
Yeah, he's bad. So let's go. I close my window here. Let's see your Josh Hawley video. Is there an easy way to find it?
Is Israel a settler colonialist state? I believe.
Not controversial at all.
No. Actually, it's one of if like once you watch it though, there's less of a political message than you might expect.
Okay, let's see here. How old is the video?
Oh,
okay,
this is you
found it.
You found it.
All right. So,
it's I think it's kind of toward the earlier part of my videography.
But this is one of you're most proud of this, or you feel like your message.
Yeah. I would say not even message. I would just say I think it's kind of everything felt like it just really came together in this one.
Something happened to my. Oh, there I am. Okay, so I'm going to play this. I can imagine it's closer to you because you feel like, for me, like Josh Hawley doesn't impact my life directly, in probably the same way as somebody who lives in the state. Even though all the senators I do think have control over it. So, Brian, did you feed your dog and you're back now? Is your dog's name Butterscotch? Is that right?
I like that name. That's a good name. No, my dog is named Jelly, although I feel like all food names are good names. Butterscotch would work.
I thought it was Butterscotch for some reason. Anyways, and Seth, what's your cat's name?
The one that you saw, that is Artemis J Cat.
Artemis. Got very sophisticated names for your cat.
I don't. We've got another one's named Squeaky, so we kind of go both ways.
So my cat's name is. I'm gonna before I play your video, I'm gonna play. Digby also did a little segment here about pets. I think he's got something here. Let's go back to Digby. Oh, I got to bring him onto the show. I'm sorry for derailing the conversation, but I had these little things that I needed to do. I'm gonna play your video first, and then I just don't feel like I can remember to go back to this train of thought. So let's play your video.
I'll remember for you.
Okay. I want to go back to talking about the cat, and I have to play a commercial because we've got a paid sponsorship. So,
nice.
So here's the video. Is Israel a settler colonial state?
Thank you, everyone, for convening today for this emergency session. In their woke crusade to denounce Israel as a, quote, settler colonialist, apartheid.
I'm going to pause it there because I got a notice that said it was altered or synthetic content. For anyone who doesn't know that this is not, Josh Hawley didn't actually say that. Any of this. This is not real.
I hate that they make us put that on there too, because I'm worried. I worry it'll make it look like everything was AI generated and not just the voices.
Did you mark it as AI or did YouTube do it?
I marked it. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay.
I'm a
Okay. I
law-abiding
didn't realize that
citizen.
you did. I thought AI, because like a lot of times I just get tags on things that I didn't do. I thought maybe it was, but that's cool. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you don't want people to think that that he didn't actually say these things, or maybe that he did, or whatever. So.
State, unquote, far-left members of the Democrat Party have had to play fast and loose with the facts. So I want to settle this debate right now, out in the open, with all of America watching, by going straight to the horse's mouth. Welcome to the stand, Colonial Sanders.
Thank you, but I confess I'm not sure why you called me here, Senator Hawley. They call me Colonel, by the way.
And that's fine. This is a formal Senate hearing, though, so we'll dispense with the nicknames, Colonial.
Well, it's,
In your expert opinion as a colonial, can you tell me and the rest of the room here what you think of the accusations that Israel, of all places, is a, quote, settler colonialist state, unquote?
Well, Senator Hawley, I'm afraid I'm not qualified to speak on such matters. If you'd like to know the best way to fry up a chicken, I'd be happy to address that, but what you're talking about is not something I know anything about.
Your humility is admirable, Mr. Sanders, but the fate of the Jewish people is riding on this. Can you answer the question?
Am I under oath?
Yes, Colonial.
Look, this is not something I can speak about with any confidence.
Okay, then try to speak about it without confidence.
Senator, I'm a simple purveyor of chicken. It's good chicken, and I'm very proud of it. But it's not so good that it would qualify me to speak on the record about other non-chicken matters.
I'm going to make this easy for you, Colonial Sanders. Is Israel a violent, settler colonialist apartheid state?
Mr. Senator, I don't know what most of those words mean.
Shall I get a dictionary then? Would you like me to get the dictionary?
That might be helpful, yes.
All right. I'm assuming you already know what violent means.
Yes, I know what the word violent means.
So let's start with settler colonialism then.
Okay.
It says, a type of colonialism in which the indigenous peoples of a colonized region are displaced by settlers who permanently form a society there.
Sorry, can you define colonialism?
Are you being serious right now?
Senator Hawley, I last attended university in 1914. By mail. Chicken is my trade, not fancy words.
Wow. The colonial himself is asking me what colonialism is.
Again, I'm a Kentucky colonel.
Oh, you're much bigger than a colonel, Mr. Sanders. In fact, some would say you're an American icon. And this false modesty, though initially charming, is beginning to wear thin.
No, I'm saying that I'm not colonial, or whatever it is you're calling me.
Nor is Israel, Mr. Sanders. And it should be easy for you to say so, Colonial.
That's not my name. And it's certainly not the title that the great state of Kentucky bestowed upon me.
You're speaking to federal senators today, Mr. Sanders. We have nothing to do with Kentucky state law. Now, I've asked you no less than 3 times at this point. Is Israel a violent, settler, colonialist, apartheid state?
Apartheid? I thought, is this about South Africa?
No, as a matter of fact, it's not.
We're talking about Israel.
Nothing gets past you. Now, can you answer the question?
My answer is that I have no goddamn idea what you're talking about or why I'm here. What is this?
It's a farce, is what it is.
I suppose we can agree on that.
That's enough. Take this man away.
Stop resisting.
If the woke mob can get to an American treasure like Colonial Sanders, it can get to anyone. What's next? Ronald McDonald giving out free hand jobs with Happy Meals?
I wouldn't mind getting a tug from that Wendy's gal.
Ugh. What's next?
We've got an expert witness on impeachment coming to testify. Welcome, Ms. Impeaches. Have a seat.
Peaches? Going with the teaches of peaches here.
That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed
the Super Bowl's almost here, and since the Eagles have brotherly...
Man, I did not expect the Colonel Colonial pun to go on that long, but I was living for it because I've gone through that thing. Like, I've always been like, that's the stupidest spelled word in the English dictionary.
Yes.
So can you explain? I'm not sure the Amy Klobuchar references. So tell me about.
I mean, I just wanted to. I sometimes I get an image in my head and then I want to see it through. And the image was just, I saw an image of a comb in a bucket of chicken.
So it's a reference to that eating the salad with the comb thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that, I just wanted her there so I could have the bucket with the bones in the comb.
And your relationship with Peaches and her teaches?
I am a fan. I learned a lot from Peaches teaches.
I had a gay roommate for a couple of years, and he just loved Peaches, and I found her to be really annoying.
Really?
Yeah, I just even her video where she's dancing in the Andy Griffith cell. I think maybe that is the Teaches of Peaches video, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen any of her videos.
Pantha, are you familiar with Peaches? Peaches seems like she might be in your line of work.
Might help if I'm actually clicked on the correct screen to push to talk here. Yes.
Oh, your microphone sounds great today, by the way. This new gaming rig you have is really working out for us.
It is, after I finally got it to work.
But I don't like the fact that you don't have. I think that you have push to talk. I want to hear you laugh and giggle. I want to hear everything. So
I mean, now that she's got the gaming rig, when are we getting the gaming stream with Pantha?
Yeah,
I'm dying for that.
You know, I barely finished my first game of Civ before the stream started.
And you denied us, Pantha's first playthrough of Civilization with live reactions on stream. Oh my goodness, you don't know that would have been great reaction viral.
I know.
Seth, are you a gamer at all, or was that counterproductive to actually achieving greatness in philosophy?
It is counterproductive, but I do enjoy the occasional game. I just kind of have to stay away from it because I tend to get, sucked in.
Don't ever play Brotato, because Brotato is the thing that is prohibiting me from actually achieving anything right now. I'm consumed with this goofy little game. Anywho, I want to get back to Digby.
Yeah, we have the segue here. We got to
play that commercial. Digby, can you play the commercial? Also, Digby has this thing where he can transform through his. Check this out. He can transform and he can instantly become the host of TERMCAST. I don't know if you can see it on YouTube, but he actually transforms so he can run the show there, and he's got his cat next to him. That's right. Got my cat here. And we got a break for a commercial, folks. So here it is.
At Facebook, we're working together to mislead others about who they are and what they're doing, using coordinated, inauthentic behavior. A good example of this is how we convince people to visit Facebook, click on a link, and read deceptive content. Coordinated, inauthentic behavior isn't unique to Facebook. Social media people work together to mislead others every day, and they continue to do so. We build technology for ideological purposes, or it could be financially motivated. Facebook. It could be using people, using technology.
And thank you for sharing that, Digby. So it was a parody commercial I had made, and I wanted to kind of include these things onto the show. And I made that one a long time ago, before actually voice cloning was popular or readily available. So I had to do a lot of clipping to try to make it work. But basically, I wanted to reverse the whole idea that they were helping people and make it that it's all about the manipulation. I guess I'm not on that. So, and the other, I guess Digby also wanted to share.
Yeah, I think Digby is still the main screen, by the way, too.
Yeah, I switched it back. So, but we're going to switch back to Digby because he has one other project he's promoting now.
This is Squatchbert the cat. Squatchy is the official cat of TERMCAST IRL. I'm very proud to announce that the Trump administration will be releasing a set of collectible NFT trading cards featuring Squatchy the cat any day now. Keep your eye out for them. You don't want to miss out.
Okay. So, anyways, let's look for that in the future. We're going to be cashing in. It's going to be very valuable.
Coin.
Yeah. Okay. So
Can I use Solana for that?
Yeah, you actually have NFTs. So, Toasted, do you have NFTs?
No, I have plenty of crypto itself, but NFTs itself I do not own.
I actually have. You don't even have like the Reddit NFTs. I was given the Reddit NFTs, even though like some of the subreddits say you can't use them because they think that they're immoral.
I don't even know what you're talking about with Reddit NFTs.
Yeah, Reddit minted NFTs if you have certain levels of karma. Seth, do you have any NFTs?
I have no NFTs. No. I got some. I've got a couple of crypto coins. Not Bitcoin, unfortunately. I missed out on that boat, but yeah, some of the other ones.
Yeah,
I don't really like. Crypto was really just sort of a wasted potential. I think, I mean, the technology, I was one of those guys, the technology is really cool. But it's, they sort of doubled down on Bitcoin specifically doubled down on the bunk economics and we see the result. And so now it's just Tulip Mania Part 2.
Yeah, crypto for me is like somewhere between like compulsive video game addiction and gambling at a casino. Like it does not seem like a healthy habit whatsoever. But like way back in the day, like I totally was so enthusiastic about it, and all these like utility cryptos seem like they'd actually be very helpful. But now it's just like none of the utility cryptos are doing anything, and it's just like memes and Bitcoin, which is pretty useless. Like I've sent a lot of Bitcoin transactions in my day. It kind of sucks, but it's gold kind of sucks too, but it's still around.
It's, I guess the thing is that a lot of it was just a libertarian project to try to, skirt taxes too is problematic. Is that if we converted to a system like that, basically our infrastructure would collapse because we'd have no way of funding anything. But I guess that's their goal.
Pantha's showing us off her NFT collection over here.
Yeah.
Why fund when you can hoard?
Yeah. What do we have? We have Pantha's NFT collection. Oh no, she's showing off the basis for her NFTs. So
Yeah, the only reason I got into NFTs was Tyler Thrasher, artist on Instagram. He does transmutations. It's basically just his way to pay for the transmutations to create these different pixel art images. You pick a boring bug and then 2 essences, and he combines it to a one-of-a-kind art for you. It's just the way he implemented it using Solana.
Those kind of personal things are nice. I think you can contrast that to the other end of what this project is, which would be Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo, right? It's basically the same concept, but in a far more scammy form. So
yeah, he also makes paper versions of them, so you can actually purchase a paper version of the bugs once they're made too.
Yeah, I like those kind of personal touches, so I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I am kind of like an anti-crypto guy just because of the environmental impact and the gambling impact of those things. It kind of is something that I avoid, but whatever. Anybody have anything they want to promote, discuss, talk about? Pantha, you want to promote your Instagram?
I haven't posted anything on Instagram since before the pandemic.
Well, you need to get to it now that you're the Jamie of this show. Everybody's going to be clamoring to find your artwork.
Nice try. Nice try.
Woke Mike says that Seth is in a dark room. Yeah, and he had some very dark comments about his dark room earlier on the Discord that I won't share. But I will share
his own comments.
Very dark comments. And I was like, how do I respond to this? Should I go darker? Should I say that that's the reason I have a backyard? But I was like, no, I don't know. Anyways, I did want Digby was going to play a song for us too.
Ooh,
back to Digby.
I like it.
This is not his song. He found this. Actually, he didn't find it. I'm requesting that he plays this. This is not something he even knows about. But Digby, could you pull that song up that I asked for? Okay, but this is not something that I approve of. So this is Seth and I had talked about music, and we have some commonality in music and whatnot. We were talking about Joy Division, and I found a track that I really thought was interesting, and we should share it. So let's see if I can find it here. Okay, so I got to go to Digby, and Digby's going to play this song through his mouth.
Doing your mom, we are doing your mom. Doing your mom, we are doing your mom. Doing your mom, we're doing your mommy mom.
Okay, all right. So
sounds like a Digby song. He should...
Sorry, Digby should not. But I like the contrast of Joy Division being kind of an artful, brooding band, and then they're doing a cover of Doing Your Mom. So I thought I'd share that. Just we do have a sense of bad, crass humor here. Pantha, was that something that we should not have played?
You know, I used to be really into mindless self-indulgence. There's a song that I had as my profile quote when I was on ICQ back in the day. What was it? The
You're
lyrics
dating
said,
yourself, Pantha. You're supposed to be 19 years old, okay? And you're
well,
supposed
when
to
I
be
was 19, I had the quote,
when
I
you
love
are
my
19.
mommy. I love my mommy because she fucked my dad.
Nice.
I love my mommy because she fucked the shit out of my dad.
MSI was great.
Brian, you're familiar with the song?
Oh yeah, no, I was laughing that she knew. I wanted to go to an MSI concert, but I bought tickets and I showed up on the wrong day. I showed up on Sunday. At the
I've been to three MSI concerts.
Didn't Jimmy Urine get canceled for bad behavior?
Probably. I would be surprised if he didn't.
Nothing.
Pantha only listens to bands in which the lead singer is problematic. Yeah. So she, D. Antwoord also.
Yeah, that was a sad cancellation too. I don't know. There's something about filthy lyrics and music that just does it for me.
And well, did you answer the question about Peaches then? Did you ever listen to Peaches?
Yeah, I've heard Peaches, but it's not something I would actively seek out and listen to.
What about White House?
No, White House.
Speaking of filthy lyrics,
how about ODB? All Dirty Bastard.
Of course. Okay. Well cultured.
Okay. I think that's about like I think I've ran through all the stuff that I prepared for the show.
I'm pretty tapped out myself. I only have like the intro stuff. Like I was gonna have some lighthearted conversation stuff in the beginning, but like
let's do that now that I don't know how long. I don't even know how long we've been going on, but if you want to do your lighthearted stuff, if you've got like a comedy routine, you can.
No, it wasn't even. It's actually kind of related to what you were just playing about making a song about doing your mom, but not really related. I wrote my mom. I was going to ask like, how you guys doing? Did you file your taxes today? Because my mom's actually my accountant as well, and I got the Beatles song "Taxman" stuck in my head, so I recorded "Tax Mom" for her and started singing that to her. So. That was my cute little voice message. Much more wholesome than what Digby was doing, but it was a mom-inspired song.
I made Digby do that. He didn't really want to do that, but I made him do that. Just like I'm going to have him play another one now, but I don't even know if people are familiar with this band. Can somebody identify the song or the artist? Anybody? Nobody?
I was happy in the haze of a drunken hour, and heaven knows I'm doing your mom.
I was looking for your mom, and then I found your mom.
Nice.
And heaven knows I'm doing your mom.
There we go.
Honestly, that's better than anything he's written in the past 10 years.
Oh
or so.
yeah, Morrissey's very problematic, and he was like the guy that I was like, I loved listening to Morrissey when I was in high school. Like there was the the Cure and the Smiths, and I gravitated to Morrissey. The Cure was more if you were a gothy kid, and the Smiths were like if you were the intellectual literature person who loved listening to Oscar Wilde and learning about the poems of Keats and Yeats. So
yes,
I love the mockery of. I mean, I feel bad about the mockery of Ian Curtis because a tragic ending to his life. But with Morrissey, I feel like, oh man, any kind of mockery
Fair
of
game.
that dude, he's terrible. So, thanks for the visuals, Pantha. This is Slither.io, which is a very political game. If you play it, you always encounter the Trump train worm, and you have to defeat the Trump train worm. And so.
Panther's brought the gaming to the stream. I like it. She got the new gaming rig. Look at her game. Woo.
Which CPU did you go with? Did you go with Intel, or did you decide that all the negative press around their CPUs recently?
She probably can't get to her unmute button right now. She's busy slithering around. Oh, threaded the needle.
Yeah, that was nice.
Peach gaming.
Yeah, it's wonderful that she bought this fancy gaming rig and she's playing a virtual Java game, a browser game. Well, does anybody else have anything they want to talk about? It was a slow day today because of the Super Bowl, but I'm not like a sports fan at all. I've always thought it was kind of my dad always loved watching football on Sundays, but I was like I never really got it. But
football I don't have the patience for, really.
Today's the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Yeah, I told Justin, he was like, oh, tomorrow's the Super Bowl. And I was like, well, I'm going to do this anyways. I'm trying to be more regular, trying to set up something that we can.
I'm surprised Justin knew.
Yeah, Justin doesn't seem to be a sports guy either. I like think about my dad watching football all the time and how like the Super Bowl's uninteresting to me. But the interesting thing is if there was like a fancy skateboarding thing, I'd be really into that. And it's like no different really. It's just like whatever you did as a kid and you enjoyed, you basically want to watch people excel at it when you're aging and you can no longer do it. So anywho, I'm running out of steam. So if anybody has anything to add,
Good conclusion. I think we can wrap it up. You did a great job today, Terminal.
Well, thank you, and thank you for joining us, Seth. It was
fun.
I wish I could be more structured. I meant to write down a bunch of notes to ask you and try to, be more formal about the interview. But I was playing Brotato most of the week, so I did not get to.
I did get a controller.
Nice.
Brotato.
Panther's rotating. I like it.
Did you get an Xbox controller? Or?
I did because I intend to play Forza as well.
Oh, well, I actually have one final video, and we're going to conclude on it.
Brotato?
It is Brotato. Sorry, Seth. This is beneath you as the heady intellectual of this group, but we're gonna Digby's gonna pull up the latest episode.
I think we've established I enjoy a good fart joke.
I made have you seen my fart jokes too? Like I did it just because Justin always puts a fart joke in his video and I always consider it so lowbrow, and I was like, I can do this too.
He sneaks them in there though, like sometimes they're low key. Like
I had one where I converted the song "I'm a Fighter" to "I'm a Farter," and I changed all the lyrics, and people hate it. And I love the fact that they are annoyed by the song because that song is so. Most people aren't even familiar with the song, but it's about how he got shot and how he gets back up and there's blood all over him, and it's like the most jingoistic, gross song ever. And I thought there's nothing better to do than to convert it into a complete 2-minute long fart joke. So here we go. Digby's going to play us off with my Brotato video here. And so let's see if anybody can understand what's happening.
Really quick before you do, last few videos weren't visible in the actual stream for us. It was visible on YouTube, but I didn't see.
Which one?
For Digby. Digby was not visible.
Can you see him right now? I think he is.
Nope.
He's there.
He's on YouTube, yeah,
He's
but
on
not
YouTube.
in, like the.
Oh, you mean in our stream? I took him off because I think he distracts from. We've got 4 people here, so he's just not very important. That's not true, dude. I'm super important, and I'm running this show, and I don't really want to play this potato video, but I'm gonna do it. All right. So, anyways, this is for people in the know. This is danger level 5. I insisted that I needed to play the potato, the crazy potato, and I had to do an elemental build, which was kind of hard to do. And I'm not that great, but this was the final level 20 of Rotato, danger level 5, elemental crazy. So, sorry, you get to see the gear that I chose here. But here goes. This is some stunning content. I didn't dodge very well here, but because the game is very forgiving to how you build your potato, like it's basically almost like a deck builder. You can, if you select the right gear, you don't have to be very good at the game if you go through. So here it is, everybody. We're going out. So I just wish the video would end quicker. I didn't expect it to go on this long. Sorry. So here it is. Dodging. Looks like I'm going to die. Maybe not. There it is. So thank you for watching that incredibly crazy nonsense there. Brian, what did you think?
Good job, sir.
Your build is insane. What is the synergy of these weapons? Like, what is this build?
Yeah, and the thing was, rather than pick the right thing to do, like most people just say, oh, just play knives and go through it. I had to do it like the crazy way. And I sat there and I spent like hours just dying repeatedly until I finally got the right gear. So anyways, I don't want to talk about Bertata anymore because I feel like it's alienating to anybody who doesn't waste their time on such nonsense. So anyways, thanks so much, Seth, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I think we could have some more better conversations that are less video game related and less doing your mom related in the future. Hopefully you'll join us again. And
I love to talk about doing your mom.
that we're going to clip that one and ship that. So that's going to be, that one's going up on Twitter right now. So, and thanks, Brian. And your set was lovely. I love how you basically de-resed throughout the show.
I faded from existence slowly.
I love it. And you were a wonderful co-host. Justin, I'm no longer talking to that dude. He's no longer allowed on the show. We don't need him anymore. And Pantha, thanks as always for, I just ordered. Pantha's like, you just got to tell me to be there. And so I'm just ordering Pantha around now. So we've engaged in a very abusive relationship at this point.
That's how I respond best.
So,
oh no, I died talking to you.
I told her, I told Pantha that I was going to give her this mug for showing up. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it. It's a handmade, handcrafted, artisan ET, the extraterrestrial mug. So I sent it to her last night and she's like, what the fuck is that? You didn't recognize that that's ET?
Well, yeah, but what is that? Like, where did you get that? Why?
It's somewhere between a mushroom and ET, but yeah.
So my grandmother passed away a long time ago, but all her possessions were in my grandfather's storage. And then my grandfather passed away. And then my mom had all this stuff and she was like, here, take this. And it was a box full of ET collectibles. So I thought maybe each week, maybe I share a different collectible ET thing from the 80s. This is not collectible because I don't even know. It was probably in some like craft shop as you go through some tourist trap. So that was the funniest thing because I don't think I could sell it. I through eBay.
You think maybe a family member had made it at some point and she kept it?
It's too good to be. I mean, the actual kiln drawing on it is too good, but the ET itself is hilarious. So I thought maybe each week I could, since I've got this box of ET collectibles, I'll have a little segment where I share.
Do you have the
ET
Atari
collectibles.
game? Do you have the ET Atari game over there? That's a classic.
I don't. Well, I've got the ROM. I'm sure I have the ROM on one of my systems, but I don't have the cartridge.
Well,
anymore.
you're
It's
in
a
Arizona.
super
That's not
rare
too far
cartridge,
from
really hard to come by.
You can go dig up in the desert somewhere where they're all buried and get some more collectibles.
Yeah. I thought I was going to make a segment for the show where we just, and I was going to use the ET graphics from the Atari 2600 to introduce it. So, and if anybody here wants to, hold on one second. I've neglected the chat this whole time because I'm terrible. BB had a question for me. He texted me earlier. It was about other channels like T-Mode's The Oral Knots. They did an amazing Star Wars series, and it was their channel that led here. Just asking. No, I haven't seen it. BB, are you talking about my V video that I did? I'm not sure which.
Pantha found what I was talking about.
Yeah, like one of the first things I did on YouTube was a cut of a science fiction show called V, where the reptiles come in and take over the planet. And I cut out the part where the storyline about the girl who becomes pregnant from a lizard, a handsome guy, but beneath he's a lizard. And I tried to make this cut to be relevant to modern times, that a lot of times women have relations with a dude who turns out to be kind of a metaphorical lizard, and she wants to get an abortion. In the show, she's forced to have a kid. So I made one of my first videos is this V video. Spent a lot of time trying to make it artsy and put music to it and kind of make it philosophical. And then it got no interest. But over time, it's been my most sustaining video and the one that I get a lot of comments and interest on, because it's got kind of in the zeitgeist of history. People remember the show. So I'm thinking of doing more like that, not because I want to be popular, but I really was proud of this video, but it went nowhere because YouTube doesn't really promote it. You have to pay to promote it elsewhere. So, okay. So they did a whole series of Star Wars, first 6 movies, Jedi Party Play. I'll have to check it out. And Pantha's got it pulled up here. So BB saying The Oral Knots. So I'll have to check it out. Seth, do you have anything you want to promote or say? Is there anything?
No, just like and subscribe, to the Reductio.
I want to say that too. I'm it makes me sad to see you put so much effort into something and it gets so little views. Because I think if people saw it, they would realize that the heart and everything in it, and the point.
This started out as something I do really for myself and my friends, and if it stayed that way, that would be fine.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get caught up in thinking that something will go bigger, but really it's way more intimate when you have people that appreciate your stuff.
Yes,
and it feels. I think we're being manipulated to think that it's not the quality of views, it's the quantity of views. It's hard sometimes to get out of that, but still, I'd like to see your effort be enjoyed by more people. So. And I'm sorry that this channel is so small that there's not. I mean, you probably have maybe.
You should be. Jesus.
Yeah. So hopefully you don't feel like it was a waste of your time. And
no, of course not.
Digby.
Stop apologizing.
Somebody else was apologizing. Justin always tells me I apologize way too much, and I tell him that I'm sorry for doing that. And then somebody I think it was Thomas. He apologized to me for something on the Discord. And I'm like, oh man, now I know how Justin feels, because he's always very, very courteous and apologetic. So, anyways, thank you, BB. The V video, yeah. And the Empire. Oh yeah, that's the whole dynamic of Star Wars is interesting. If you get into how Lucas wrote it about Vietnam, it was about the Vietnam rebels. So even it's such a weird dude, but he can be kind of have some radical politics, even though he's a goofball. And Woke Mike, thank you for hanging out here. Yeah, if people haven't seen the Angry Ginger channel, it's used to be Progressive Matters. He played one of my videos on his show, and he sat through the whole thing, and he was very kind about it. He encouraged people to up dude and all that. So Angry Ginger's a good dude. So I sound Canadian with all my sorries.
I was about to make that same observation.
Yeah, what's that all about? So anyways, thank you guys. I love all of you, and thanks for all your help and being a part of whatever this is. And Brian, don't ever change that desk. This is the desk that you're going to be sitting.
I think I'm going to do something better. I need to fix this green screen, get actual lighting that's consistent rather than.
I think you should, like, I'll help you with special effects. We could just make it so like you're a head sitting on a platter on top of the desk or something. I think that would be funny.
Put me in a cage or something. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well,
He's
I'm
been
terrible.
slowly phasing out Star Trek style.
Yeah, he's de-resing. And what's funny is, like, if you like, I'm a goofball. I like doing the OBS effects in real time. Like, you can enlarge yourself and then you can do the green screen in and out. You can do all sorts of funny things. You can fade yourself in and out. So in the future, we should be even more goofy. You know, we should lean into the goofiness of things. So I'm terrible about wrapping this up. Who's got some concluding thoughts? Pantha, I'd like you to summarize.
Later, losers.
Peace out, nerds.
So, and there's the promo for the Angry Ginger. So Woke Mike can be proud that he's promoting the Angry Ginger. Angry Ginger's got some good politics. He's generally, on the right side of things. Or I don't know if there's anything I really disagree with him on. So you can hit up the Angry Ginger. Pantha, I asked you to summarize what we learned today.
Wheel of morality, turn. Yeah. Tell us the lesson that we shall learn.
We learned a lot about different philosophers.
Mm-hmm.
Which
can you name a couple of them?
Oh, let's see. I got a couple tabs still open here.
No, nice.
Let's see. We got some Robert Nozick. How do you say that?
Nozick. Robert Nozick.
Nozick. Let's see here. What else we got? Look at this. Look at this one. Look at this page. Look how long it is. It's like
Bertrand
the longest
Russell.
scroll.
One of the segments that I wanted to have prepared is Pantha and I have talked. We talk about science a lot and the people who engage in it. And I had the theory of how you can tell us what branch of science or philosophy somebody is based on their facial hair. Seth he violates the rules of see that's a beard of a biologist. They all have this Charles Darwinian beard, and the exception would be, well, I guess Daniel Dennett has a beard. Yes. So normally a lot of the philosophers are clean shaven. Physicists will have a mustache or something like that. So there's and I wanted to do a quiz where I would show a picture of a scientist and we have to guess what branch of science he is in based on his facial hair. But Seth, I guess like new philosophers maybe is facial hair in philosophy. I kind of view it like facial hair in the legal system. Like lawyers generally don't have beards or mustaches. Right. So
philosophers are usually their faces are shorn, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Shorn faces.
It's just like leaning into stereotypes and whatnot. So, but it was very fun to have you on, and hopefully we can do it again sometime. And
absolutely
awesome. So,
adios.
Thanks everyone, and take care. And thanks everyone in the chat. BB, Woke Mike, who else?
Thanks for coming, guys.
Yes, love you all. Bye bye.
See you.